In today's video, I'm going to bring you through an e-commerce brand that is actually doing $3 million per quarter. As you can see, today is like we're approaching the end of March, so April 1st. And so as you can see here, $3 million year to date. And then of course, in the months where we're reaching Q4, the fourth quarter, the biggest e-commerce quarter of the year, then these numbers, of course, they go up. But typically these are typical months. And so in this video, I want to pretty much give you or bring you through some really important foundations that businesses like the following that are doing 8 figures have set to actually get to 8 figures in the first place. And the reason why I want to do this is because many of the companies that reach out to me are typically doing like 7 figures, right? Or some are maybe starting out and they just want to learn the foundations of building a profitable multi 8 figure e-commerce brand. And so I like to do videos where I differentiate and bring you through a bunch of different frameworks, as you can see, where I can essentially identify and bring you through exactly what are the differentiating factors between a company doing 7 figures and a company doing 8 figures. So let's dive it deeper into the entire spiel over here, some points. So as you can see, there's several diagrams that I do want to show you. Especially over here, I do have something for free to give you, just to give you some value. You probably, if you are a new viewer, you don't know what this is. If you're not, you probably do know what it is, because I go over this document every single time, but it's extremely valuable, and I'm going to explain what it is and give it away for free. There's a link down below, but I'm going to explain this later on as we go down through the video, okay? So first of all, let's discuss some really important factors that give you foundation behind why some brands are actually easily able to get to the 8 figure mark compared to maybe other types of markets and companies and e-commerce brands. So first of all, if based on my experience, I've been able to work with over 100 plus e-commerce brands. The client that I showed you at the beginning of the video is one of our clients, but we typically work with 7 and 8 figure e-commerce brands, right? And I've been able to work with over 100 plus in the last 6 years, and I always see traits. And typically the brands that are able to scale quite aggressively are brands that there's two options. Option one is that they go after like a very this 15 bill this is like 15 billion, 1 billion, right? These are just random numbers. I didn't do any type of specific research. This is just an example for you to understand the frame of my argument here. So option two, there's two options. Option one is that brands go after like the full market, the red ocean, right? This should be blue because we want to call it a blue ocean. So let me just change it. So there's a red ocean and a blue ocean. So some brands have big budgets or have just that extra feature on the products and that extra unique value proposition where they can enter a super competitive market. And because they have leverage over the product or leverage over the marketing or leverage over something, they're like not easily, nothing is easy in a red ocean market, but they're able to eventually break through and find their own profitable funnel, offer, product, etc. But typically to enter these competitive, like really competitive market, you need to be very good at building leverage, and typically that's through selling a product that we all know that it's going to work, but it has a differentiating factor to it, because so instead of just selling this phone that is in a super competitive market, you're selling the same phone, maybe similar features, but you're adding and stacking many other features that that you know for a fact that the market wants. An example is approaching, for example, a skincare market, super competitive, but instead of just selling the serum, you sell and present the product in a different way that has maybe more ingredients to it, more viral ingredients to it. So you are differentiating your product compared to the entire marketplace. That is a perfect example of when I would go into like a red ocean market. At the end of the day, it's called red ocean because people are making billions of dollars, literally billions of dollars, if not trillions, and they're profiting from it. So there isn't no reason why you can take, a very small piece of the pie and build an 8 figure company. There's no reason. You just need to build your own leverage. The other option, which is like some of my clients, including this one that I showed you at the beginning, is that they actually found their own market by really niching down by vertical. For example, I'll give you an example. This is just an example, right? If you're selling to skincare, you might want to sell to a specific vertical. So doing skincare for Black people in the United States. So that alone is a $1 billion market. I know for a fact. Do your own research, but you essentially niche down. You can do the same thing with apparel, right? For hoodies, right? You maybe specialize just in hoodies, right? You basically niche down and make sure, the most important thing is that you make sure that the market is still big enough, because a lot of people go down into the rabbit hole of doing a lot of research and niching down. But at the end of the day, they're going after a market that is not scalable, or if it is scalable, it's really hard to scale just because it's hard to find new customers, or it's a premature market. I've seen this many times. We're going after trends, but the trends are not strong enough for us to actually get to that 8 figure market yet. Maybe in 5 years from now. now, when there's more awareness, right? So hopefully you get the point. So once you decide which route you want to choose, at the end of the day, the most important thing that you need to understand to get to that next level is you need to be able to do these three things. First of all, you need to know how to go viral. If you learn how to go viral and create content that resonates with your ideal ICP, your ideal customer profile, your ideal customer, and you have good hooks, good storyboards, good creative strategists that put videos together, you have leverage automatically. If you solve a specific solution, right, a problem to a specific solution, you have leverage automatically. And at the same time, if you are able to know how to build a great offer, assuming we have a good product that is competitive to the market, has better features, whatever XYZ, you're going to make it. So these are typically the three foundations that I find when brands actually get to the 8-figure mark, okay? Whether it's approaching the 15 billion or the $1 billion market, you can do both. Both work. At the end of the day, we're looking to build a 20, 30, 40, $50 million e-commerce brand, right? So we don't have to have all the customers in the world. It seems like maybe a lot for some people, but it's actually a minuscule section of the market, right? So I want to just set this foundation because I know that I ranted about this for the last 3 minutes. But it's really, really important to understand as a principle to actually getting to that next level of ad spend, of revenue, of acquiring customers. The next thing that I noticed that a lot of these e-commerce brands actually really focus on, especially the ones that get to the 8-figure mark fast, is that they understand levels of prioritization. So levels of prioritization are very, very simple to understand, but not everybody does it. So the first thing that you should do, based on my experience, and once again, if you are a new viewer, just so you know that I am qualified to speak about these things, not to repeat myself, but I've been able to work with over 100 plus brands, and I've spoken to like thousands by far. So I know exactly what the 6 and 7-figure brands are doing compared to the 8-figure brands, and every single 8-figure brand I've worked with, they do this. They understand level of prioritization. What does that even mean? Basically, this is what it means. We like to map out the entire funnel. So these are like some metrics. These are the ads. This is the landing page. This is the pop-up. This is the checkout. This is add to cart, checkout, and then these are basically upsells and downsells. And then this is the thank you page. So this is overall what a traditional marketing funnel would look like, at least for the majority of our customers. The first thing that we do is that we dissect it and we understand exactly what numbers we're getting on the front end. We write them down. What AOV we're getting on the front end along with the conversion rate, right? And we like to also see how our page speed is doing because that's very, very important. If you're having maybe a low conversion rate, a decent average order value, but maybe a low conversion rate, maybe it could be just because of page speed. You work on the page speed and then the conversion rate increases because more people get to see the pages more often and they go through the checkout. So it could be as small as that. Why is all of this important to record before I move on into my rant is that a lot of people, they focus on the wrong things. They don't understand and know how to prioritize the things. So let's just say the AOV is fine, maybe $60, $70, $80, and the conversion rate is 3%, like 1% or 2%, which is obviously not strong enough, right? Especially as we want to scale up ads. And then all they focus on is maybe like how to make better ads, right? Or how to, do other things. And they don't even know that their page speed is like 5 seconds or 4 seconds. Anything above 3 is really, really becoming to get a problem, right? I actually have a case study about this. Last week, we actually brought the conversion up by like 50%, just literally because of positioning certain elements, moving things to the add to cart more on the top without people having to scroll, and page speed at the same time. So because we fixed these two things, the conversion rate went from like 1.5% to like 2.3%, which was a huge win for us immediately. So it's really, really important. Moving on, whenever we dissect conversion rate, we don't just dissect and say, hey, conversion rate is low, conversion rate is why. We always ask why. Why is it low? And so we want to dissect people into 3 funnels, right? Conversion rate has, at the end of the day, 3 main key metrics that we want to distribute and understand. The proportion between people that will go to the page and go to the add to cart, people that go to add to cart and proceed to checkout, and people that go to checkout and actually proceed to a purchase, right? So these are typically the metrics that we want to see. 10% add to cart, and then 50% of the people that add to cart go through checkout, and then 60% of the people that checkout actually purchase. This is typically a good proportion that gives you these numbers. If, for example, we see that like just 4 or 5% people add to cart, maybe it's a pricing issue. Maybe it's because the add to cart section is loading slow, which was actually, in some cases, that was the case for some of our clients, and we have to fix that. Or for example, if this is too low, or if this is too low, there's always specific reasonings behind why things are just maybe not at the standard at which they should be, which is a byproduct of why you maybe have low conversion rate. It's not always about the offer on the front end. It's also because of these aspects over here. It could also just be because of price. So people decide not to really add to cart as much because the price is maybe too high, or it's the page speed. Once again, there's a bunch of different reasons, right? So once again, understanding the levels of prioritization. Same things applies to back-end offers. If we know that on a standard good offer, a good upsell should convert at 15 to 20%, and we see that an offer is doing at 5%, then we know why we're not getting as much revenue as we should from the upsells, downsells, cross-sells, and the one-click upsells post-purchase, right? Same thing with email marketing stuff, right? Why is my email marketing at 15%? It should be at 25%. Why is that the case? Reverse engineer what your problems are, and I can guarantee you, right, that you can get to the next level in just within months, just by dissecting and understanding levels of prioritization. I know that there's a lot of things to do in e-commerce. You don't have to explain that to me. I know for a fact. And so the worst thing you can do is just go ahead and fix problems based on what you think is the problem, or not based on what the numbers are telling you is the problem, right? Okay, another big one is the opt-in rate. I have many clients that come to me that have like a 2 or 3% opt-in rate, and then they start complaining because their Klaviyo revenue is below 20-25%, and it's obviously also because of that. The standard kind of benchmark that we want to go after is 6 to 7% or higher. If we can achieve 10% or higher, that's great. It's going to help you boost your email revenue drastically from day one as soon as you optimize that. And optimizing this can be as easy as changing the pop-up, or changing when the pop-up goes onto the website, or changing the offer to the pop-up, or taking away the phone number in the first opt-in page. You know how you can distribute the opt-in page with like section 1, section 2, thank you, right? Maybe there's a problem within that small little funnel within the pop-up. So once again, I'm not going to go through everything and all the details here, of course, because the problems of a funnel could be endless, right? Same thing need to be done over here on the front end, on the ads. Same exact thing. We need to dissect. This is why like ROAS is not the only most important thing. We need to understand CPM, CTR, cost per click, all of these other things that are a direct contribution to why we're making ads profitable or unprofitable, right? So this is just a rant about that. Moving forward, if there's one thing that I noticed that typically 8-figure brands really focus on, and I would say one of the things that we're doing for this client really, really well, is just expanding creative pipeline as much as possible. And so one really strong thing that you can do for your brand is start gathering B-rolls. And this is something that maybe not a lot of companies are doing. I know that the 8-figure companies, 9-figure companies, they're all doing this. Okay, it's obviously working very well, very well. I speak about this concept in all my other videos, but essentially what the strategy is asking, these are basically creators that we go after. They're in our network, we want to work with them. Instead of just asking them for one video and 2 or 3 hooks, which is a typical standard procedure, we go ahead and ask for B-rolls, and B-rolls are scenes, pieces of footage that are 10 to 15 seconds long, and these are like people unboxing the product, being happy with the product, unhappy without the product, sharing it with their boyfriend. Like, they're all scenes that essentially we can then put together. And so from like $200, instead of just getting 1 or 2 videos, you can get 15, 20, 25 different pieces of B-rolls. And then you can have the creative strategist and the editors put them together. So the editor would essentially put the variations and put the B-roll variations together. So B-roll 1, 5, 7, 2, right? And then put them together based on the scripts that maybe our creative strategist and copywriter gave to them. And so the end result is this, right? We can basically create so many different ads and creatives and scale horizontally and vertically at the same time. And then this allows us to really have a snowball effect, I like to say, of creatives to test every single week. And so testing 20, 30 creatives a week won't be a problem anymore, right? Because you have this engine that operates with a flow. Okay, and at the same time, you can pretty much get 5, 10 extra creatives from the one that you invest in with this B-roll strategy. The only catch is that you need to have editors and good script writers and creative strategists, because then it's like giving you a Ferrari without an engine, right? You basically have all the B-roll, all the content, which is the Ferrari, but the engine is like putting the pieces together, right? The B-rolls and the scripts and all that stuff. So this is really, really important. Another thing that really I noticed that these brands do is that they also test. Of course, they just do a lot of UGC automatically, and one way to do it is that to test scripts very often is also to leverage AI. So it's not in this presentation, but one really cool way to do it is actually test scripts with AI avatars. And so instead of paying the actual creator, if you can find a way to utilize AI to test the script, and I'll show you a tool that we use, which is called Symphony Creative Studio, which is I talked about this in my other videos as well, but this is like, it's a great tool that is on TikTok. So you just go on the TikTok Ads Manager, then you find Symphony Creative Studio on the, on the left side, and then you can basically create avatar customers. You can choose your customers, not customers, creators, sorry, avatar creators. You can choose your script, and of course you need to add punctuation to make sure that the script is has the right pronunciation, and the avatar creator has the right pronunciation, right? Because these people, these AI people understand, if you give it punctuation, right? It will change the tonality. And so I'm gonna let this load. I've shown this video before, but it's really, really realistic, and it allows you to be very, very creative with how you put pieces of the puzzle together. Let me see if I can find an example of this, because it's super, super powerful. Let's see if I can find it here. AI, where is it? AI, I think it's this one over here. It should be AI UGC video framework. So this is basically the framework, right? So instead of this is the framework. So you basically have the script on the back end of the creator, and then you essentially switch between B-rolls and AI UGC talking head. People that, these are just B-rolls of maybe other creators, right? Whatever. And then you also maybe have a talking head. You can put this talking head on the bottom left, basically like this girl over here, or bottom left or bottom right, whatever. And then you can just have B-rolls of other B-rolls that you have. Two, of course, that need to resonate with the script that the AI creator is talking about, right? So you can be very, very creative, and you can also use tools like what is it called? This one over here, which I forgot what it's called. I honestly forgot. It's a tool that basically does it for you, but if you want to do it for free, you can use this one over here. You just have to be a bit more patient and put the pieces of the puzzle together, but it's free. It's completely free, and there's also a lot of different avatar creators that you can leverage from, okay? When it loads, I'm going to show you how it works, but yeah, overall the framework is use AI scripts, use AI talking ads, and use B-rolls, and then you can basically create unlimited video ads. This is maybe not the best, like it could be a very unique way to scale and really push out content, but in some cases, a traditional raw UGC video is maybe what works best for you. If that is the case, continue with that, but maybe this is a fun, cool, cheap way to test the concept, prove it, and then go ahead and invest $200, $300 for just one video, right? So hopefully this makes sense. Now, and of course, these are just other concepts that I see that brands are doing, and we're also doing it for this client. This is by far the main strategy that we're using, but we're also doing creator tests like this. We're getting basically the script and the storyboard that works in the best way, and then we're scaling horizontally with different avatar creators. And then, of course, we find, and this is what happened for this client, we found that 2 or 3 were really working well. Let's just say it's the blonde girl from New York that has 35 years old and has like a cool home. Let's just say that is the case. Then we go ahead and find similar creators that we can scale that concept further. And then, of course, for whatever reason, one creator is going to outperform the other, even if they're similar. But you're giving at the end of the day, it's a probability chance here, and it's about testing. And some creators, just because of how they look and feel and how they speak on camera, just perform better than others, and so you stick to that and you replicate that and scale further. Okay, that's it for this section. The other thing that I wanted to speak about very quickly is that, as I talked about, like once you the b-roll strategy, once you have a lot of b-rolls, you can be so creative with scaling horizontally. And so I've spoken about this many times. You can have your editor change the different types of b-rolls while keeping the same script, or vice versa, changing the script and keeping the same b-roll. And then you can also scale horizontally even more, which is great for iterations, right? Once you have something, an ad that works very, very well, why change it completely? Keep on iterating it, change the hook. And so this is an example of something that we do and that we're doing for them. We keep the same script, we keep the same b-rolls, but it's different hooks, right? Different hooks, which is by far the first 5 to 7 seconds of the ad, which is by far one of the most important things. If your hook ratio is like 50%, 60%, means that you're killing it. If it's only 20%, 10%, 15%, it means that there's room for improvement, and that's where you can go ahead and test other hooks. Even if your current winner it's a winner probably because it has a good hook ratio, why not test different hooks that also get good views or good hook ratios, and that can also generate profit for the company? And then you can, of course, keep the same script and change the b-rolls overall. And there's many ways to mix and match. This is just a diagram that we leverage for this client and for all of our other clients. Okay. And last but not least, the one thing that I wanted to talk about, since I did do this recent new diagram, is understanding the principle that at the end of the day, the step that will also easily or allow you to get to 8 figures in an easier way, I should say, is scaling horizontally. So instead of just focusing on one product that makes 300K, why not also expand horizontally and have a product 2, product 3, and product 4 that bring in an extra 500K a month, right? One product doesn't have to be the only way to get to $2 million a month, for example, right? And by the way, this ceiling that I mentioned over here, this maximum, right? You need to understand that every single time you get into a market, the product that you sell is going to reach, let's say it's this product, the product that you sell is going to eventually reach a maximum or a ceiling, right? And it's going to be dependent on the product, on the market, the awareness that people have the product, if it's an early trend, if it's an not too early trend. There's so many different valuations that you need to put into consideration to come up with a maximum for you. But the maximum is going to be different for everyone. And hey, if you are close to reaching the maximum, and that you're getting close to the maximum when you're like really hitting the ceiling, and you're making maybe 200-300K a month, and the more you spend and the more it's just really, really hard to scale, you're doing a lot of creatives but it's just not working, then you need to start thinking about introducing new products. The other thing that is also that these brands do, especially this one that we're working with right now, is that we're scaling horizontally with multiple angles. So it's just saying we're selling this product. This product can be sold in many different ways. It could be the hair angle. It could be because it's a great product for hair loss, right? It could be because it has a nice perfume, right? So there's so many different angles that you can use. And so if you can distribute horizontally, if you're not a new viewer, once again, I do speak about these concepts quite often, but they're super, super important if you want to get to that next level of ad spend, of revenue, of company valuation, whatever you want to put it out. But this is the model that you should use. And then last but not least, there's more concepts of way to scale horizontally, but I want to just speak about the creative concepts sheet. And so this concept is super important because we have a product, right? We're scaling with angles, but then we're going to notice that if we don't test more creative concepts, we're essentially leaving potential gray areas, I like to call them, on the table. These gray areas are potential untapped revenue streams. And so maybe instead of doing 600K, you do 500K because you decide to not test other viral creative concepts that are working well for your best direct competitors. I'm not sure, since just saying an example, right? Same thing with angle 2. Angle 2 with the shampoo angle works, but you're not testing ASMR videos. You're not testing unboxing videos. You're not testing reaction videos, comment overloads, right? All of these pieces of the puzzle, if you put them together and you test, at the end of the day, as I said before, it's a matter of testing things and concepts. Maybe you can tap an extra 100, 200K a month for that angle just by testing new creative concepts that you never tested before. So once again, at the end of the day, it's about doing more of what you're doing and leaving that 20 to 30% wiggle room to test new things and scale horizontally. Okay, that's it with this video. The one thing that I wanted to share over here, let me show you
This is why Gen Z is ditching. I stopped wearing heavy
One
makeup
second.
every day and switched to Dermatology's tinted moisturizer. It's a moisturizer, sheer coverage, and sunscreen all in one. I love how it blurs my pores and gives me that sun-kissed.
You get the point. Okay, so this is a really good tool. It could be improved, but with the script,
Searching for the perfect shade. Plus, my skin soaks up all the good stuff: hyaluronic acid, niacin.
it's really, really realistic. There's also very good lip sync, and when you download it, the lip sync actually improves based on what I've seen. Okay, that's it for this video. Oh yeah, I want to share this document very quickly. This is basically the b-roll document that we use whenever we want to share b-rolls and we want to have creators do b-rolls. We put all the b-roll examples in one sheet, like with direct visual example and visual representation, so they know exactly what they need to do. And so before paying them, you say, hey, Catherine, creator, right? We need you to do B-roll 3, B-roll 4, B-roll 5, B-roll 6, and B-roll 7 at least, plus maybe 15 others. And so you can just send them the sheet. They can go through exactly what you're looking for, and with a small description, where you are in the dark with AirPods in your ears, staring at one dot because you can't sleep, right? They know exactly what they need to do because you gave them like a small description, right? This is what we do for this client. We did a 32-page document on it, so we literally have all the possible angles and b-rolls. We suggest that you do the same if you want this, so it's very organized, it's very streamlined, and the creators know exactly what they should do. Okay, last but not least, the sheet that I was talking about over here, this is basically a command center. I always share this. It has an ROI calculator. This is the exact same sheet that we use to scale our own clients to multiple 7 and 8 figures. And it has an ROI calculator, a daily report. You can plug in your numbers. Everything is color coded. Creative concept sheet with inspo links, 600 hooks, creative testing tracker where you can keep track of all your tests, which is super, super important. Ad copies, visuals, UGC tracker, TikTok tracker, email marketing flows, CRO tracker, right, with a bunch of things. So this is the universal sheet that we use to scale our clients. It's really, really important. I always like to use also this ROI calculator where you can just like change the numbers. and then the scenario changes. You get the point. There's a link down below. Also, if you are a brand doing at least around $100,000 a month, plus or minus, and you want to explore the opportunity of really partnering with a growth partner, which that would be myself and my team, you can click the link down below. This is also an opportunity to do like an audit call that is completely free. We just go and dive into your business, explore the opportunity that there is of finding new revenue streams or new opportunities to make more revenue and cash for your business. And then if we see the opportunity of doing this together and there's good synergy on the call, then of course we can have a second call where we can discuss a potential collaboration. Okay, that is it for this video. Hopefully see you on that call, and definitely see you in the next video. Bye.